Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to Hull for a sports project aimed at getting youngsters fit and healthy, and we find out more about a Grimsby landmark absolutely iconic and up for sale. And we'll have more on the news about the 900 job losses at Scunthorpe Steel in Scunthorpe. And tonight's guest is Lincolnshire chef Nigel Brown, here to tell us about his new book. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Hugh Richards. Now it's time for the news headlines.
Hello there. A task force has met for the first time in a bid to try and help the 900 people affected by the job losses at Scunthorpe Steel site in Scunthorpe. It was chaired by North Lincolnshire Council leader Liz Redfern, who announced her intention to form the group last week.
It'll be people sitting round discussing, as I say, our asks for government. So we shall have people from the local enterprise partnership, Humber and Lincolnshire. We shall have the regeneration officers. We shall have DWP, Job Centre Plus, housing, just everybody round the table working up our asks, what we feel that we need here in Scunthorpe to support the workforce.
Meanwhile, steelworker Kevin Kay says he hopes that staff can be spared the devastation of being made redundant and that enough people opt to take it voluntarily.
There's about 800 jobs affected in Scunthorpe. Now, what we're hoping is that there's enough people on site that will take voluntary redundancy and we don't have to go down the road of hard redundancies. If that's the case, that will devastate a lot of people.
Over £4,000 has been donated to the British Heart Foundation in honour of the late Deputy Leader of North East Lincolnshire Council, Mick Burnett. It's as part of a metal recycling scheme whereby replacement joints are removed from the body of the deceased, with the raw materials then being sold on. Councillor David Watson is the portfolio holder for the environment on North East Lincolnshire Council.
Well, the council's entered this scheme where we recycle metal from the crematoria, and today we presented the cheque to Anne Burnett, widow of the late Councillor Burnett, for just over £4,000. We're recycling false hip joints, false knee joints and anything like that out of the cremated remains.
An East Yorkshire care home rated as requiring improvement has been fined for failing to display its rating on their website. Westerland's care home in Ellerton, which is managed by Prime Life Limited, has been issued with a £100 fine by the Care Quality Commission. All residential homes are required by law to clearly show their CQC rating online. The home have since accepted and paid in full. That's all from me for now. If you have any news for us, then get in contact. You can call 01472 315553 or email news@estuary.tv. Bye for now.
A project aiming to increase sports participation among the young in Hull has secured its funding. Local charity Achieve Potentials says it'll help them deliver sporting activities to over 1,000 young people between the ages of 14 and 25. Erica Barker went to find out more.
This may look like any other PE lesson, but youngsters at Winifred Holtby Academy are some of the first to benefit from funding which is being ploughed into sporting activities for children in Hull. Around £200,000 is to be spent over 2 years on providing activities for all abilities. Active Communities Network is a national charity which, with the financial backing of Sports England and local businesses, is helping kids in our region.
And we're very much around utilising sport in socially, economically deprived communities to engage young people in positive activities, to work with them in their own personal life skills, personal development, work with them around accreditation, training and volunteering, and ultimately to give them pathways into education and employment. Sport is a great way of getting kids motivated. It gets them into something they enjoy doing, and it gives a good opportunity for us to work and mentor them because the coach-young person relationship is great. But in the long term, it's really about how do we train and develop the next generation of people to change our communities for the better.
One of the local charities to benefit is Achieve Potential. They will be the ones to deliver a wide range of free sessions in the school holidays and term time to encourage youngsters to get active.
A lot of it is about confidence building. We get an awful lot of young people who think they can't do, and then they come along to our low-key sessions. You know, we're not looking for the next world superstar. We just want somebody to take part at their own level and to be able to compete at their level and not worry about any pressures of competing to a certain standard.
And representatives from corporates and community groups also came along to show their support, and it seemed that fun was had by all.
It's that teaching them the difference between winning and losing. It's the teamwork and the social aspects of it all as well. And we see our kids get a great experience from us within sport, within the skill. Just really pleased with the way it's gone. I think our kids have had a fantastic opportunity. They've all bought into it. Obviously, achieved potentials have come down. The coaches have been fantastic today, and it's been a really positive day.
It's different from normal lessons.
And it's a good opportunity to mix with people.
And we meet other members of the community as well.
There wasn't just the traditional sports on offer either. Dog training was also an option, which went down a treat. Erica Barker, Estuary TV.
And if there's a story you'd like us to look into, then please contact the news team either through the Facebook or Twitter pages, or email news@estuary.tv or call 01472 31553. Do let us know what's happening in your area. Still to come tonight, we find out about a Grimsby building, absolutely iconic and up for sale, and we'll have more on the news about those 900 job losses at Scunthorpe Steel in Scunthorpe. And of course, we'll have the latest in the local sports news. My guest tonight is the resident celebrity chef for The Lady, England's longest running weekly published magazine. He's also chef and features editor for numerous other publications, and he's found time in between all that to write a book. He is, of course, Nigel Brown. Nigel.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in. First of all, NB, How to Cook, a beautifully produced cookbook.
It is, and I'm bound to say that because it's mine, but it's I'm really very proud of it. It's a proper hardback cookbook, just what the nation needs.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of cookbooks all over the place, but this one is a work of art in its own right, isn't it? It's a work of craftsmanship, beautifully illustrated and beautifully produced.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy who's designed the actual book for me and put it all together, he's just recently, we found out this week, won an award for the Gourmand World Cookbook Awards, and his last
for the photography.
For the design.
For the design.
For the design, he's won an award called the best designed cookbook in the world for the last 20 years. And this is one of the following books since he wrote that one, or designed that one, to go into the competition, which will be for 2016 now.
It's beautifully designed, and the photography, as the photography in all cookbooks, just makes me hungry.
Yes, well, the photography that was taken by a fabulous food photographer called Timothy Green. He's done lots of work for lots of celebrity chef books, cookbooks, and I had to have him for mine.
We do have a lot of cookbooks. What's different about yours?
Well, what's different about mine is mine's achievable. A lot of books out there, like your Heston's, you need to buy liquid nitrogen, you need a water bath, you need a vac pack machine, you need a degree probably to read it and understand it. My book is very achievable. What I've done is I've stripped all the technical professional terms out, so it's a book that we can all read and understand, from the the housewife to the butler, everyone in between can use this and kind of achieve the recipes that are in it.
Okay, and the ingredients not difficult to get your hands on?
Not at all. That was again something I was very keen to make sure that all the ingredients are available within literally wherever you're sat from this book. Now we're minutes away from local shops, supermarkets, fruit and veg, fishmongers and so on. There's only one ingredient there which you might have to buy further away from Lincolnshire. That would be beluga caviar, but most people use online for them kind of ingredients.
I never have breakfast without it.
Absolutely. So everything is really achievable, including the ingredients.
Now, I introduced you as a Lincolnshire chef, but you're a Yorkshireman, in fact.
That's right, yeah. I'm a Yorkshire chef, or a Yorkshire lad on permanent loan to Lincolnshire.
Righto.
I go over the Humber Bridge, I get my passport stamped, and I'm told to come back again.
Righto. Okay, and you've got a cookery school in Barton upon Humber.
That's right, the Nigel Brown Cookery Academy, which is a fabulous cookery school. You'll have to come and see us sometime.
I'd love to. I'd love to come and eat there. What got you into cooking in the first place?
It came really from a family background. My parents used to run a restaurant in Driffield, just outside Driffield, a very well-respected restaurant called the Four Winds, which I write about in the book. Actually, there's a lot of stories in there to tell. But really, from it was a case of when you could walk, you could work. So I didn't get out of my pram till I was 12.
Right.
But yeah, it was really a case of into the family business, through the college trainings of all the colleges along the East Coast, really, for the basic catering training and so on. And that was my grounding, really. And then from there I went to the bright lights of Middlesex, Heathrow, to work in some of the large hotels and so on, and then worked my way back to Yorkshire and now to Lincolnshire again.
You've been associated with some, there are almost as many cooks on television as there are books on the shelves. You've been associated with some of the names we might recognise. Novelli's written a foreword for your book.
That's right. Jean-Christophe is a very good friend of mine. We struck up a friendship about 8 or 9 years ago, where he saw me demonstrating at a food festival and he said, I have to have you at my cookery school to do some courses. And from then on we've kept in touch, made great friendship, and he was delighted to tell me he'd like to write the foreword for the book, which I took his offer up naturally, and a great foreword.
Just want to mention before we finish this campaign against waste that you're supporting as well. Why do we waste so much of the food we buy?
It's an education thing, really. We all need retraining. We're all going out there, we're buying the buy one get one free offers. We're not really writing shopping lists and kind of menus for the week, so it's about retraining. And now with having to buy a bag or take your bag, hopefully that'll encourage people to buy less because there's less to carry at the same time.
Nigel, thanks very much. Just to reaffirm, NB How to Cook, available from Amazon,
Waterstones,
and
my website, Nigel Brown Chef.
Nigel Brown Chef, and it's what, about £25?
£25.
Nigel, thank you so much. I am extremely hungry. Stay with us until we've come back after the break. We find out about an iconic building in Grimsby, which is up for sale, and we will be bringing you all the latest in the local sports news and results. Welcome back, you're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we find out about a Grimsby iconic landmark, I'll say it again, iconic landmark, which is up for sale, and we'll have more on the news about those 900 job losses at Scunthorpe Steel in Scunthorpe, and we'll have the latest local sports news and results. If you drive down Victoria Street in Grimsby, there are two buildings which probably stand out, the Flour Mill and the former Castle Press Print Works. The latter is up for sale, and Emma Lingard, ever interested in history, has been to the building to find out more.
Built in the 1890s, the former Castle Press Print Works building was the home to the 1st Lincolnshire Volunteer Position Artillery. The red brick building, with its castellated Tudor-style front, is now on the market with a guide price of $250,000 to $300,000 and could have a variety of uses.
I think it's quite interesting to look back at what the building's been used for most recently, and that was as a printing works. It was called Castle Press and it was part of the Wyndham Gate Group. It's a fantastic site. It's on one of the main arterial roads as you come into the town centre, so it does have potential for redevelopment, for retail or leisure purposes, or somebody could continue to use it as a factory and warehousing.
The Grade 2 listed building also served as home to the regiments in the First World War. For the documentary For King and Country, broadcast in 2006, I visited the presses when it was in operation. A place with so much history is likely to garner much interest.
We've had some offers on the property already, but they weren't quite where we wanted to be. So there's been a good level of enquiries, but nothing that's enabled us to conclude a sale to date, hence the decision to put it to auction.
So if you've some spare cash and fancy buying a piece of Grimsby's history, then this former army barracks could be for you. It even boasts an ornate toilet built specially for the officers.
Yesterday's news about the 900 job losses at Scunthorpe Steel in Scunthorpe was devastating news for the town. It'll see the town's plate mill mothballed and the Dawes Lane coke ovens closed. Here are some of the reactions to that news.
The lads in there today are absolutely devastated by the news. We don't think it's coincidental that the news is being broken on today, on the day that the Chinese Premier visits here and has the red carpet rolled out to him. We're very devastated by today's announcement. It's going to affect a lot of families. A lot of people are going to be worried for their futures.
Well, it's utter devastation. My heart goes out to them. I've been up at Teesside in support of the Redcar Steelworkers, and I've witnessed firsthand the utter devastation up there. Just coming up to Christmas, people, families with mortgages. These are real people with real families, and I don't think Mr Cameron understands this. And it just seems to me as though it's turning his back on the industry.
There's about 800 jobs affected in Scunthorpe. Now, what we're hoping is that there's enough people on site that will take voluntary redundancy and we don't have to go down the road of hard redundancies. If that's the case, that will devastate a lot of people.
Now, the reason I'm here today, I'm here to come down here. I'm here to come down here and support these poor people who's losing their jobs here, and they're going to find it very hard. I found it very hard, and my wife's here. I can understand how these people will be. It's mayhem. In this town, where's any other jobs for these people to go to? There's nowhere for them to go. They've got maybe mortgages and they've got little kids at school. You know, it's not very nice at all. I would have thought there would have been some other way around this.
This is the heart of the town. If this goes, the town's already on its knees. This will just, well, it's on the floor after this. There's homeless on the streets, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. This is just the core of it. I'm a Broughton girl. It's about 10 miles up the road, and there's the wood separating these Broughton from the steelworks. They used to be driving on bikes, 4 abreast on shifts, 4 abreast back. Hundreds of them. Now there's none. It's all gone.
It's not just these workers here it affects, obviously. It's the snowball effect from cleaners. So all this area will have nothing if it hasn't got these steelworks.
Of course, many people are blaming the pressures facing the UK steel industry on cheap imports from China and high energy costs. A lot of people were expecting the UK government to have been more helpful.
They came out in force yesterday to show their support for the steelworkers. Some were locals there for solidarity, while others, like Mick Johns, were ex-employees. Mick was made redundant from Lysets in 1981, and it took him 9 years to find work.
I think the damage is done now, I'm afraid. You know, maybe something should have been done a bit earlier. But as I said, it was the same at Lysets at Steelworks. It was terrible them days, you know. It took me 9 years to get another job. I was out of work 9 years. I had to live off my land, off my allotment. I had 3 kids. I had them to feed and clothes and everything like that. It was absolutely mayhem. Now, as I said, so this is my understanding. That's the only reason I'm here today. It's just to come here and look at these, you know, it's these who we should have been looking after. It's too late now, I think.
High taxation and energy costs were blamed for the job losses, and current workers felt the UK government should have done more to assist.
The government should be doing, what the government should be looking at is tackling the carbon tax levy. That is absolutely crippling this business. The carbon tax levy, high business rates for these sort of industries, and high energy bills. High energy, the cost of conversion is absolutely crippling this business. The government needs to be looking at reducing that directly, as well as tackling Chinese dumping of steel on our shores.
I mean, is there any government people here today? I can't see anybody. You know, I mean, there isn't that many of us people here, but if you hear the traffic going past and look, the support from there is absolutely amazing. I mean, they're all pipping and, you know, they're agreeing that, you know, we need to save the jobs in this town.
And the skills here, what these workers have, they're highly skilled. And once these skills have gone, they've gone. They're not transferable, these skills.
I think we just feel we had to come down today and give the lads some support. There's a lot of really hard workers down there who deserve our support and they deserve jobs.
A task force has now been put together to look at the future for the workers, but the knock-on effect is how will Scunthorpe cope long term.
And as mentioned at the end of that report, a task force has been put together to look at this. Dave Nunn joins me. You've been speaking to Baroness Redfern this morning, Dave.
Yeah, I spoke to her a couple of hours ago. She was going on about how the task force is going to comprise people of like the local DWP, the Humber and Lincolnshire LEPs, and obviously council government officials, so they're going to try and help these 900 people find jobs. I asked her if it was any consolation for the people that lost their jobs that this task force has been set up. Some people say it's been set up a bit too late. Should obviously they can't change anything about the job losses now, but what they're aiming to do is with the renewables industry coming, they're hoping that some of these people who are in Tar Steel may be able to relocate to the renewables industry and things like that. And the Scunthorpe MP Nick Dakin asked the Prime Minister a question in Parliament today. He did. He asked him about the Chinese steel dependent dairy with Cameron, said he'll raise it with the Chinese president, but he can't make any promises he can't keep. OK, Dave, thank you very much, and we'll be following this story very carefully, of course. Time now for the sport.
Hull City maintained their unbeaten run on Tuesday evening, beating Ipswich Town 3-0 at the KC Stadium. The Tigers are now 7 games unbeaten, following goals from centre-half Alex Bruce, Tuber Akpom and David Myler. Bruce was a first-half substitute, replacing Curtis Davis, who sustained a suspected torn calf muscle. Elsewhere, Scunthorpe United lost 2-1 to League One leaders Gillingham. The Iron had held the lead thanks to a Scott Laird strike, but despite ex-United man Josh Wright being sent off, the Gills turned it around. United now sit 16th in League One. Grimsby Town loan signing Connor Townsend says he's pleased to be back in a Town shirt and is looking forward to spending the month at the club. The 22-year-old defender made his second debut for the Mariners in the 7-0 thrashing of Halifax last week and is looking forward to playing consistently again after limited opportunities at Hull City so far this season. Meanwhile, the club have confirmed that they're expecting to sell out their full allocation of tickets for Saturday's trip to Harrogate Town in the FA Cup qualifiers. Around 450 have been sold so far. According to reports, Hull KR's run to the Challenge Cup final gave them a crucial financial boost. According to their chairman Neil Hudgell, the Robins lost 50-0 to the Leeds Rhinos in August at Wembley's showpiece, but admitted their run to the participation in the final put the club in a far more comfortable position. And finally, the club have confirmed the departures of academy graduates Aaron Ollett and Macaulay Hallett. Ollett has joined the Keighley Cougars, while Hallett's destination is yet unknown. That's all your sport for now. You can get in touch by calling 01472 31 553. And that's all for the sport.
That's it for tonight. My thanks to Nigel Brown, my guest today, and to Dave. If you've a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31 553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A few light showers possible at first on Thursday, drying later with some sunny spells and a maximum temperature of 14 degrees Celsius. Friday mainly dry with a little rain in the west but clearing later.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.